Chiefs fans, welcome back to another episode of the J All Day NFL Show. In today's episode, we're going to do a full 7-round mock draft. But first, what we're going to do is go over all these moves in free agency. Who's coming, who's going, and then we're going to take a look at the roster real quick and try to figure out a plan of what we're going to do in this year's draft. Let's get into it. All right, Kansas City Chiefs fans, if you could do me a huge favor and hit that like button, it really does help us get into the algorithm. And if you want more Chiefs mock draft content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Take a look at your screen. Let's go over all these moves. Hopkins goes to the Ravens on a 1-year deal. He's out. Justin Reed, the safety, he's on his way to New Orleans on a 3-year, $31 million deal. The Chiefs add Christian Fulton at the cornerback position. You know, a mid guy, 2-year contract. Nothing's going to completely change this defense, but he's a solid depth piece. The long snapper James Winchester returning for year 11. Another player leaving the Kansas City Chiefs is D tackle Tershawn Wharton. He's joining the Panthers on a 3-year deal. Wide receiver Justin Watson heads to Houston. They add a depth running back in Elijah Mitchell. Patrick Mahomes gets a new left tackle. 2-year, $30 million deal with Jalen Moore, former 49ers offensive lineman. We'll have to see how that plays out. He's not getting paid a lot of money, so the league didn't really value him too much. So we'll see how he plays out. We know the offensive line is a big point of interest for the Chiefs. Also staying with the Chiefs, linebacker Nick Bolton. And they also re-signed Marquise Hollywood Brown. Good move there. They retained guard Mike Caliendo. Matt Ariza, the punter, will return. And Joe Tooney got traded to the Bears. That's the harpoon in the chest for Chiefs fans. Let's take a look at this depth chart, guys. As we're looking, points of need, edge defender, and another D tackle to play beside Chris Jones. The linebacker core looks pretty good. Probably could add another depth corner for sure. I would like them to add serious offensive line moves. Suma Mataya, they're going to kick him in the guard, it looks like. They probably need an upgrade there. And Juwan Taylor's getting paid really well, but he gave up 7.5 sacks. So adding depth to the offensive line, to the wide receiver room and the running back room, all points of emphasis this offseason. And I also want them to add some edge and some D tackles. Let's get into the 7-round mock draft. All right, Chiefs fans, we're picking at 31 overall. There's definitely a few names that pique my interest. Josh Simmons is still on the board. He could play tackle and guard. A lot of people think that he's probably going to be kicked into guard at the next level. We'll have to see how that plays out. He's a very, very talented guy. He is coming off that ACL tear, but he's a very, very talented prospect, right? I know that picking a guy coming off injury isn't ideal, but a talent like Josh Simmons, whose tape was the best out of all the offensive linemen, in my opinion, could be a great move for the Kansas City Chiefs. Josh Connerly Jr. is on the board as well. So is Amarion Hampton. That's a very interesting pick. But Josh Simmons is just too good of a football player to just let walk past you at this pick at 31 overall. He played right tackle, he played left tackle, and he does have shorter arms, so they probably think he's going to kick inside to guard. 6'5", 310, great size. Dude's super talented, man. I'm a huge fan of him. The injury might scare off some teams. That's why he fell to 31, but the value is just too good to pass up. Josh Simmons goes to the Chiefs at 31 overall. Next up, we're picking in the second round. We have picked 63 and 66 overall in this draft, guys. I love 63. Cam Skattebo makes a lot of sense in the end of the second round. He might still be there a little bit later in the draft at 66 or 95, but there's going to be good running backs in 95. So Ben Morrison is a very interesting guy as well, but I also like Josiah Stewart, the edge defender from Michigan. Super talented guy, monster, just an absolute freak show. 9 sacks, 8 hits, 20 hurries. Pairing him up with a guy like Chris Jones on that D-line could be very, very disruptive to offenses. I love Josiah Stewart in the second round. All right, guys, 66 overall. Take a look at the board. Xavier Restrepo is still on the board. He's a very interesting, more of a slot guy for sure at 5'10", 198. Could fit very, very well in that offense, in my opinion. But a guy I really love, Ben Morrison at 67 overall. I really like that. Ozzy Trapillo, adding another offensive lineman, could be very interesting. Tight end Terrence Ferguson, bringing in another tight end to replace Kelsey. This is probably going to be his last year. Does make some sense. But we're picking here pretty early in the third round, 66 overall. Dylan Sampson, the running back, I really like as well. So we made our selection so far. We went edge and we went tackle. A D lineman here could make some sense for us as we're looking at who's left. Josh Farmer. Not the guy. And if we keep going down, not a lot of interior defensive linemen I'm super interested in at this point in the draft. I do like Charles Grant, the offensive lineman. He is a very interesting prospect as well. But guys, you know what I'm going to do? This might blow some heads off, but I'm drafting Cam Skattebo in the third round. For me, Cam Skattebo can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a true 3-down back. And Pacheco just doesn't look like he's the guy anymore. And the other running backs on the roster I don't think are very good. So I'm really, really considering him. And I'm also considering Ben Morrison, the outside corner. He got hurt this past season, but man, he is a very, very talented guy. He's healthy though. The hip is fine. He's going to be ready for Cam. Gave up no touchdowns all year long. Very, very talented guy. But look at his numbers in 2023. He was an absolute ball hawk. 3 interceptions. Passer rating against only 60. The dude is an absolute monster at the cornerback position. Man, between Skattebo and Ben Morrison, what pick would you make, guys? I don't know if one of these premier running backs is going to be available at pick 95. Maybe, but I doubt it. So I'm going Cam Skattebo. I'm doing it. I'm bringing a huge weapon on offense. He could catch the ball out of the backfield. And, dude, just watch the tape. I'm a huge Cam Skattebo believer. I love him. All right, now we're picking at 95 overall. Okay, third round, 95 overall. I'm bringing in a tight end. Harold Fannin Jr. had the most production of any tight end in the entire college football series. 95.9. Crazy. 10 touchdowns, 1,500 yards. Learning from Kelsey. I love this pick at 95 overall. Now, Chiefs fans, you're up in the fourth round. We got our tight end. We got a running back. Edge. We got a tackle. Bringing in a wide receiver makes some sense. Or bringing in another offensive lineman. Willie Lampkin is on the board. Really, really solid guard. I love him. He is a very talented guy. Lampkin has definitely piqued my interest. Cy Alexander, the corner from LSU. Another guy I'm really interested in. I love his size, 6'2", 194. They don't grow them on trees, guys, that size at the cornerback position, right? And he could play the slot. He could play safety. Pat Bryant on the board as well. The wide receiver could be very interesting. Pat Bryant from Illinois. I do like him, 6'3", 200. Give them a big-bodied X wide receiver on the outside. Guys, I'm doing it. I'm going offense heavy here for the Chiefs. We got our running back. We got our tight end. We got a wide receiver. We got a tackle. Now, we did get an edge. I want to bring in some D linemen late in this draft. They don't have any picks in the middle of this draft, so it's really hard to get everything you want in this draft. That's why I didn't go D lineman. Josiah Stewart can line up all over the D line, so he's a very valuable player. That's why I selected him in the second round. But let's take a look. We just want value at this point, man. We want to find the best football players available. Malachi Moore, the safety from Alabama, he's so talented. I'm bringing him in at 228 overall. Now we're picking at 256. Cypress II, the corner, he's a pretty solid guy this late in the draft, 6 foot 188. That could be an interesting spot there. Always like adding Joshua Gray, the guard from Oregon State. Xavier Truss, the tackle from Georgia, he's on the board. Not super productive. I'm just taking a look at who's left on the board here, guys. Cam Miller, Simmons. Some guys that I scouted later, aren't on here right now. This is one of the last picks in the draft. So I'm going to bring in the best player available, and that, in my opinion, that's Fentrell Cypress II, the cornerback at selection 256, guys. All right, here we go, guys. A minus overall grade. We got the A plus tackle. I love that pick. Josiah Stewart, B edge defender. Cam Scadaboo at 66 overall. I think he's a super talented guy. I love his tape. He's one of my favorite running backs. He's in my top three. It goes Genty, Omarion Hampton, and then Cam Scadaboo. People think I'm crazy for putting him higher than some of the running backs, especially the guys from Ohio State. But I'm telling you, this guy loves football. He's an absolute dog. Great contact balance. I love him. And Harold Fannin Jr., I love this pick. Giving this a C is crazy, especially with Kelsey on the way out. And Mahomes loves throwing to the tight end. Fannin Jr. is a steal. And we brought in a true big X, Pat Bryant, wide receiver. Pat Bryant is over 6'2", big-bodied, over 200 pounds. Great target for Patrick Mahomes. And then we brought in some D-back help, a safety and a cornerback late in the draft, giving us that A- grade. Chiefs fans, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.